So if you've been keeping an eye on my community tab, you know that there is a new Paco Rabanne fragrance coming out soon, and no, not Invictus Victory Elixir. I'm talking about the new 1 million Royal. So I put it on my community tab. I'll talk a little bit about that, but with that said, I wanted to do a 1 million buying guide so you can understand if you don't know anything about the fragrances or you have only one or two, you can understand about the evolution of this line. And so without further ado, let's get it. Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka FragranceDoud, back with another fragrance review and a buying guide for Paco Rabanne's 1 million. So I'm not going to be mentioning every one of the fragrances ever released from this line because I feel that's redundant, especially the ones that you really can't even pick up right now. The ones I won't be mentioning, 1 million Gold. You can't really find that unless you're like really hard looking every single day for a year. You might find it on FragranceNet every once in a while. There's a 1 million Intense that I haven't even seen in my life, so I'm not talking about that. And then 1 million Cologne, I think that's discontinued. It's never been in my stores. I've never actually seen it. I know it's more of the cologne. It's not as popular. It's centered around rose. Not going to have that here either. The ones I am going to be talking about are the ones that you will find in stores. The original, Lucky, Parfum, Elixir, and then my favorite, which is discontinued, Prive, just because it's my favorite. With that said, this line is centered around warm spices, amber, it's a warm, spicy amber, resinous sweetness. That is what this line is centered around. And there is a new fragrance coming out, which is what prompted this video, and that is 1 million Royal, or Royal. I think it's Royal, not Royale. And honestly, the bottle looks like a turd. It looks like the original, but it has this big red gem on the outside of it. And so I thought it was going to be something super interesting, like oud or this or that. It was going to be like something it was centered around. But when they released the notes, I just hope that it's kind of like a teaser notes, because the notes just look like the original. It's like amber and leather and mandarin orange or blood orange or whatever it might be. It kind of looks the same. Lavender. And so I'm interested in it still because it's the 1 million line, but at the same time, that's what prompted the video. I know a lot of people are interested in it, so I am going to be talking about all of those today. I have a full bottle of Prive, the original, Lucky, and then I have 1 million Parfum in a 10 milliliter decant, and then I also have Elixir in a decant because I gave that to my brother. With that said, I'm going to start talking about the one that the DNA is centered around, and that is the original 1 million Eau de Toilette, the gold bar, as people know it as. The atomizers, if you let these sit for a long time, like 2-3 years, the atomizers start to stick. So at least make sure that at least like once every few months that you just at least spray it once or twice, so that the atomizer, there's a spring in it that can get rusted and hard. So make sure that you press it. I know that because of my Prive. With that said, the original 1 million. It's really nice. I know a lot of people say that this is worn out. It's not as good. It's redundant. I disagree. I have only smelled this maybe on one person in my entire life. If it's worn out, it's worn out in Europe. It's still good here. I think it's still a great fragrance. You can still find it really like a really good price online, but it's sweet, it's warm, it's spicy, it's woody, it's amber, it's a little bit resinous. It's really nice. And the main notes that the original is centered around are mandarin, cinnamon, amber, and woods. When you first spray it on, you get that ambery resinous quality underneath. It isn't as heavy in the opening. It's sweet, and then it goes all the way to the dry down where it becomes more heavy. But in the opening, you get that nice, I believe it's a mandarin orange or a blood orange. It's slightly fruity, but it's more warm. It doesn't feel citrus or anything like that. It just feels like a warm, slightly fruity orange. With that said, then we also have that cinnamon. As you work your way further into the fragrance, it gets even sweeter. You get that cinnamon coming in. You get a little bit of like a vanillic tonka bean mixture mixing with that amber. It is sweet. It's one of the best just designer sweet fragrances if you're looking for something that is easy for in a random pull to go on a run, not on a run, to go running errands. So I was thinking run, but As you get into the base of this fragrance, that sweetness combines with the warm woods. And that is where my favorite part of any of these fragrances are, except for Lucky, is the base, because that woods is prominent in every one of them. And it's really nice. It comes in, it meshes well with the sweetness. It's almost like an amber woodiness. Really nice. And so if you like sweet fragrances, you want something that's going to be a huge compliment getter, then 1 million, the original, is actually going to do that. You get about 5 hours of performance, which I know a lot of people hate that. It's a moderate to a slightly above average for the first hour, and then it sits closer to the skin as the hours go on, but it's still going to be noticed at about hour 4, and then it's going to start to dissipate. Most of these fragrances are going to be in that same realm as far as, I said most. Only about 2 or 3 of these are going to be like that. With that said, I like a fragrance. If it's over 4 hours, it's fine for me, because I don't usually need a fragrance for more than that. Unless I'm going to work, but I'm not going to wear any of these to work, to be honest with you. With that said, I'm going to get in. That is the original 1 million. Really nice, sweet, warm, woody. Going into the second one. This might, no, it's not my favorite. It's my second favorite from the line. 1 million Lucky. So I like this bottle too. I like the silver or the chrome plated with the gold. I think this might be my favorite, this or the Prive, as far as the bottle is concerned. I like how they changed up the color. But 1 million Lucky is your fruity, sweet woodiness, adding in a little bit different of a sweetness in this one as well. It still has that undertone of the original DNA. But with that said, this one and the Prive really do stem out outside of the original DNA the most. Because this one adds in plum and honey and stuff like that. The main notes you get in 1 million Lucky are plum, hazelnut, honey, and amberwood. It's woody, sweet, nutty, and plum. So the plum in this is my favorite. Plum is my favorite fragrance note, whether it's in designers, cheapies, or niche. Plum is always my favorite. I think I like it best in designers, though, how the way they use it. It's not supernatural plum. It's not super synthetic plum. It's kind of just in the middle. I like the way that they use it, especially when it's that warm plum, because you can have a fresh, watery plum, or you can have the warm plum, which this is. Mixing, when you first spray it on, that plum is what's most prominent, as well as that honey and a little bit of that hazelnut, giving it nuttiness. As you work your way further into the fragrance, you get that ambery quality. That honey definitely pulls up as that plum starts to slightly dissipate. Never fully dissipates, but it does become more of a background nuance as you get to the dry down and those woods pull up. It's really nice, very comparable to something like the opening of Bad Boy Cobalt or Invictus Platinum, but I actually like this better because of that sweetness undertone, the honey in it, and then you also get that nuttiness from the hazelnut. It's a nice, unique fragrance. It's one, again, that is a huge compliment getter. Get about 5 to 6 hours of performance on it with above average to moderate, again, just like the original. If anything, you get just a little bit better than the original. But 1 million Lucky is kind of just like the fruity, nutty take on the original's DNA with a little bit more of a woodiness. You still get that sweet woods. I think it's an amberwood and a cedar mix. Really, overall, really nice fragrance. You also do get a little bit of a patchouli, but it's not like an earthy patchouli in this one. It kind of comes off a little bit of a sweet patchouli, just like the rest of the line. So that is 1 million Lucky. If you like plum, you like nutty fragrances, this is going to definitely do it for you, along with that ambery texture. Going into the third one. I'll do one of the decants, and then I'll do the bottle, then I'll do... so I'm not going in order now. So we had 1 million Lucky, and now we're going to my least favorite in the line, and this is 1 million Parfum. 1 million Parfum is where they kind of stem outside the line while still maintaining that same DNA if you took that DNA and made it into a white floral DNA. Or like a floral DNA. So this is centered around tuberose, which just comes off kind of like rosy to me. And you guys know one of my least favorite fragrance notes is rose. Even though there is rose in this one, it's not as prominent, and it comes off as a nice blended. And so if it's blended nicely, I'm fine with it. The Parfum, I don't necessarily dislike it. It's not my favorite in the line. It's just not one that I would pull, and it's not one that I would find myself buying a full bottle unless I just needed to complete the collection. But with that said, the main notes in 1 million Parfum are tuberose, leather, pine, and amber. So again, that amber is going to be in there. There's sweetness, that original DNA. You also do get a little bit more of a unique woodiness from that pine, but for the most part, you get that sweet, warm woods mixed again with some of those florals. The floral is the main portion of it. So if you like florals and you want a nice sweet take with the, kind of like if you took like a floral fragrance that is centered around rose and mixed it with the original 1 million. That's pretty much the way that I can describe 1 million Parfum to you. And with that one, you get about 7 to 8 hours of projection longevity above average. So that is where the line starts to creep up in the performance, is with the Parfum. Again, it's not bad. As far as floral fragrances go, which again, you guys know I don't like very much, this one is going to be up there with some of my favorite floral designer fragrances, just because that sweetness does counteract it just a bit. But you can still definitely tell it's a florally, ambery, sweet fragrance with that woodiness pulling up and that pine. So yeah, that is the third one, 1 million Parfum. If you need any more in-depth reviews of this, let me know. I can follow up and do a full review on a single one of these, but just, I do have one for Lucky. I do have one for the original and for Prive. I think I did one for the Parfum as well, and I know I did one for the Elixir. So you guys can go check those out as well. Going into the fourth one here, is going to be one that came out in 2022, so it's the newest release from their line. It's going to be one that's going to be a beast mode fragrance that's going to last forever, probably a day or two on your skin, no joke. It's a 2-sprayer for sure. It's one that I don't personally see myself wearing, even though I like it. I gave the bottle to my brother. It is 1 million Elixir. So this came out, and sometimes I spray it and I love it. Sometimes I spray it, I don't like it. Sometimes I spray it and I just like it. The opening I like every time. It's the dry down that sometimes I love, sometimes I don't. I don't know what it is. It's just not a fragrance I can see myself wearing because it gives me a headache. And so that's why I gave it to my brother. I kept this just in case I needed to do reviews. I can get the bottle back if I need to, but I don't really feel like it at this point in time. The way that I look at it is it's a kind of like a better blended, updated version of the original mixed with pieces of the Parfum. That's the way I can do it. The main notes you get in the Elixir are apple, rose, vanilla, and tonka. So in place of the orange from the original, it does add in that apple, even though I think there is still an orange in this as well, but the apple is more prominent in it, and that's why I like the opening. That apple really comes through as a warm apple. It's juicy, it's nice, it's warm. Really fits nicely into this fragrance. As it starts to dissipate, that is where my thoughts change on the fragrance. Also, that is the same point when the damask rose starts to pull up in this fragrance, reminding me of the Parfum, which is where I start to think I'm not 100% sure if I love or dislike the fragrance. Florals are a big hit for me as far as whether or not I like them, and rose is my least favorite floral. So it's just, my wife's also allergic to it, so that's another reason I can't wear that. I forgot about that part. That's pretty important. But anyway, so in the opening, you get that sweetness. It's very sweet. You also do get a lot of vanilla in this one compared to the original. So it does substitute that sweetness, that ambery sweetness, which it's still there, but you get a lot of vanilla in this one. You get some tonka bean to give it some powdery texture. You do get that woodiness in the base. It's just a super sweet bomb. With a florally undertone and a fruity overtone. That is pretty much the way that this fragrance works. If you like really, really strong, like Sauvage Elixir style fragrances, as far as the performance is concerned, in the same realm as the original. So take something like this and give it the performance and a better quality blend and vanilla version of Sauvage Elixir. It's pretty much what it is. So it doesn't smell like Sauvage Elixir if that's what you got from it, because I'm even confusing myself. But it's a very sweet bomb. Vanilla, tonka bean, apple, a little bit of a florally undertone from the damask rose, and then you put that all together with some woods and you make it have the performance of Sauvage Elixir, is what I was trying to say. And if you like that, great. If you don't, great. Hopefully with the new one, it looks like they're going to even out the two and not have it be as strong. So we'll see how that comes out. I'm really still excited because I still really like this line. There's not one in this line that I can say that I hate. 1 Million Elixir is my 4th favorite again. So right now, the number 1 is the one I'm about to talk about next. Segueing into the last fragrance on our list, this one is going to be your fall and winter banger. It is on par with the performance from 1 Million Lucky, around 6 to 7 hours, if not a little bit more than that. Fall and winter centric, one of my favorites. They discontinued it probably because of sales, but it's sad day when they did that. It is 1 Million Prive. I love the bottle, the brown liquid, brown bottle, glass. Really, really nice with that gold outline. Really, really, really nice. So I only have the 50 mil. I have 2 50 mils, and it's just really good. So the main notes you get in 1 Million Prive are cinnamon, myrrh, tonka, and amber. It's warm, spicy, ambery, sweet. It's like if you took a hot apple cider and just made it resinous. That is pretty much what you get from this. There's a little bit of a smoky undertone to it, but with that said, that's just picking and choosing. It just literally feels like a warm cinnamon cider. I said apple cider, but cinnamon cider. There's not really any apple in this fragrance. It's revolving around cinnamon. It has that sweetness from the myrrh. It's dark. It is just sweet. It has that ambery quality. The best way to put it is if you like the smell of hot apple cider. I know I said apple cider because there is nothing called cinnamon cider, at least to my knowledge. If you like the smell of hot apple cider and you like the resinous type fragrances, that is pretty much exactly what this fragrance is. It just smells like a nice cinnamon cider that some people say like a cinnamon pie, but I think it's more like a cinnamon cider. I get that cider vibe from it. Really nice. It's a huge compliment getter, but it's very situational because you can only wear it from like October to December. After that, I don't see myself wearing it. It just doesn't feel right. But it's like a great going to the coffee shop, going skiing, going whatever. I think it's an amazing fragrance. I think you can get away with wearing it in probably January, February too. But 1 Million Prive, one of the best fall and winter fragrances out there. If you can't find it, you could always go to Making Sense. They also make Fallen Leaf, which he has the DNA for 1 Million Prive in it, and they still sell that for a decent price. Or you can check out eBay, or hopefully it comes back on FragranceNet and you can pick it up. But again, that is my favorite out of all of them. It's just situational. I just love it so much. I could smell it all day long. So 1 Million Prive, and again, we have 1 Million Royal coming out, which again, I only know the notes that I gave you. If you look at my community tab, it has all of the information about it. But let me know what your favorite 1 Million is, if you're excited about the 1 Million Royal. And again, I'll be back with another video. Thank you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.